Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do the Anti-TBR tag. This was created by Nicole. I will link her channel and video down below. But yeah, I think we don't really pay much attention to the books that we don't want to read. We really focus so much on the ones that we really want to read. But these ones are just as important. So, you know what? Let's just get started. So, the first question is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. So I have the book actually. I have it. So this is the Spanish edition of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gifted it to my mom, but that's it. I have zero interest in reading this. And for a time, I was just like, yeah, I can try it, but I know I'm not going to like it. I don't like content, I don't like romance, I don't like historical fiction, so I'm not going to like this. But some part of me is just like, maybe I can try it. No, if I'm being honest with myself, I have zero interest in reading this. I only got a little bit caught up with the hype, but that's it. Like, zero interest. My mom loved it, by the way, but again, no reason to read this. Zero interest. Second one, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. I have read a couple of books by her, but only because I took a class that was universal literature in high school. But basically Jane Austen. I read Pride and Prejudice and another one. I don't remember the name right now, but I don't like them. That's it. I didn't like them at the time and I have zero interest in continue. I'm pretty open-minded with classics because I have read a good amount of them and overall I enjoyed them, but these ones, nah. I have a thing with people called Jane. I don't really like Jane Eyre either. So yeah, Jane Austen, not for me. And yeah, these two ones are already quite of a strong start. Then number 3, an author whose books you have no interest in reading. So of course, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't care at all about The Seven Husbands nor the Daisy Jones. Zero. But also, Alice Oseman, I understand they are quite good. Great, but I don't care. I sometimes see my friends loving her books and I'm just like, well, maybe. But I know I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to enjoy Heartstopper. I'm not going to love Radio Silence. So I'm just like, I know. But the hype gets me all the time and I'm just like, maybe. But no. I have no real interest. I know that even if I bought them, I won't read them. And if I read them, I won't enjoy it. And I don't want to read a book that I know I'm not going to enjoy. And then 3.2 is a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. I used to have an interest on reading these books. For this I'm going to choose, I think his name is Nicole. He was one of the guys that was really in the middle of all the shit that happened in... Was it in May or June with all the SFF authors? Look, I really wanted to read the Armored Saint? I think it's something along those lines. They're really short novellas about a lady cutting down demons or something apparently. I was so interested in those books. One of my friends here really likes it and also Holly really likes them too. So I really wanted to try them, but you know what? I'm just not going to support this guy. That's it. I was really interested. Now I'm just like, no, it's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm kind of sad because I won't read them. Life happens, but you know, I'm just not going to support him. That's it. Then number 4, an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. This could be a long list, but I just want to try and keep it simple. So, first one, The author of The Night Circus, was it Eddie Morgenstern? I read The Night Circus. It could be because I read a translation, and that maybe was the reason why the writing style wasn't the greatest thing for me. Apparently everyone says yes, it's so beautiful. Didn't get that. I was pretty underwhelmed actually reading the book. So yeah, I will talk about the Starless Sea in a minute, but nah, I have to pass. Then Victoria Schwab. I own every Victoria Schwab book, but I don't love any of them. Well, I do really like Vicious. Vicious is my favorite. It's one of my favorite books, but that's it. I read A Darkest Shade of Magic, the full trilogy. Completely underwhelmed by it. So many great things. I only really enjoyed the first book. Then I read The Savage Song. I quite enjoyed The Savage Song, but it felt really young. I read The Archive, and I think that is one of the books I really like, that I enjoy the most by her. But yeah, I think this is a pretty common thing. I really like her premises, but I don't like the execution. For example, Darkest Shade of Magic, the premise is so cool, but the execution was just like really bland, and I don't know, I just can't. And I kind of want to read Adila Wu, but in a way, I know that I'm just not going to be blown away by it, so I don't know. But yeah, Victoria Schwab, Vicious is the best one. Then Rory Power, the author of Wilder Girls and Burn Our Bodies Down. I read Wilder Girls, I didn't like it. The ending was stupid, I'm sorry, it was so open. And then I tried to read Burn Our Bodies Down, but I felt like the same way that when I was reading Wilder Girls, so I dnf'd it. I didn't even count it on my monthly wrap up. I was just like, yeah, nah, not going to happen. So yeah, again, as Victoria Schwab, I really like her premises, but the execution is not for me. Then Andrzej Sapkowski, the author of The Witcher. I will only read The Witcher because I have like a good amount of love for Geralt, and that's it. And it doesn't come from the books, it comes from the video games. And that's the only reason why I'm reading the books, to be honest. And it's fine. It's fine. But I don't like his writing. I don't like it. I tried it, I just don't like it. So apart from The Witcher, I won't read anything else by him. Also, J. Kristoff, I don't like his writing either. I will read Empire of the Vampire because vampires, but that's it. I tried the Illumina Files. I only like the first one, and it's not like a book to count the writing style of any of the authors. Then I have read Nevernight, which is a series that I will talk about later. But I didn't like it. I want to say that I didn't like it, but I could appreciate the book, but I didn't enjoy the book, if that makes any sense. So yeah, J. Kristoff, not for me either. Then a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. Genre that I have no interest, romance. I've said it multiple times. Most of the time, I don't even like the romance on my just SFF books, so romance is not for me. And one that I've tried many times, historical fiction. There are a couple of books that I really enjoy, but the rest are just okay or below 3 stars, so I think it's just not for me. Not something that I enjoy. If it is historical fiction and it has something like, I don't know, magic or creatures or something like that, then I will give it a try. If it's just historical fiction, I don't care. The only pure historical fiction that I read that is kind of more popular, I think it's in a Darken, and I really like that one. But the rest, nope. And then a book you bought but will never read. I'm just going to grab the ones that I have at hand. I mean, never say never, but I don't think that I'm going to read them, if I'm being honest. I think that I bought them on a whim, and that's it. But I have 3. So the first one is The Starless Sea. I 100% got caught up on the hype for this book because I didn't care about it, and I hate the cover. I know so many people love this cover. I hate it. I don't know what it is about bees or moths. I don't like it. The same with was it Mist of Nightmares or Strange Dreamer? One of those has like a moth or a, yeah, I think it was a moth in Strange Dreamer. But I don't like it. I was kind of curious about the premise of this book because it has something to do with video games, but it's just sitting there on my shelves, waiting for maybe one day. But right now, I really don't think that I'm going to read this. Maybe if someone wants to buy it, read it with me, I may force myself to do it. But as of right now, I really doubt that I'm going to ever get to it. Then because I don't want to just get up there and grab it, Battle Mage, I don't even know what this book is about. I grabbed it because it was like 3 or 4 euros, I think. And I had bought like a bunch of books and was like, wow, what is 4 more euros? But I kind of think that I bought it because I really wanted to read like the sequel series. But you know what? I'm just going to read the sequel series. And that's it. Burn by Patrick Ness. I don't think that I'm ever going to read this. If I'm being really honest with you. My mom gifted this one to me, I think on the summer. Because I had like I don't know how it's called in English, but I had like the greatest score in a subject last semester, and she got it for me. It was really cheap. It was like 7 euros, and I was just like, wow, you can give me that. But I don't think that I'm ever going to read this, if I'm being honest. I feel like zero attached to it. I'm just like, yeah, I like the minimalistic cover. I just like them. I really like that. But if I'm being honest, that's it. I don't know what to do with this book. But yeah, the rest I really want to read, and the ones that I don't, I have already given away, so I don't really mind that. Then, a series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. I've DNF'd so many series. I should probably do a video on that. First one that comes to mind that I don't think that I'm ever going to read, what's it called? Temeraire? Something like that, by Naomi Novik. The ones with the dragons. Historical fiction. It's kind of a retelling historical fiction, so don't care. Also, if I'm being honest, I don't care about any Naomi Novik book except for Deadly Education. But after the recent tweets that I have seen about it, I don't think that I'm going to read that one either. But the rest, I just don't care. The retelling ones, I don't remember the name. Spin and Silver was one. Uprooted, yeah, don't care. Then The Diviners by Liba Bray. I read the first one. I didn't care about it at all. It was probably because of the audiobook. The narrator gave the main character that we follow in this one. It's actually a group, but we really follow one in this one. She gave such a stupid voice. I couldn't stand her. So probably my enjoyment was tainted by that a little bit, but I just don't care. I actually only read the first one so I could get into Lair of Dreams because it has apparently something to do with dream magic and such. It's been 3 years. I still haven't read the sequel, so yeah. Contagion by Erin Bowman. I thought this was going to be a standalone. It's actually a series. I don't care about the rest of the series. The second one I think is called Immunity. I think that I still have it on my wish list because maybe, but I don't really care if I'm being honest. I'm actually thinking about getting rid of this one. So it's probably what is going to happen. Even though it's kind of survival horror and that was super cool, it reminded me a lot of Alien. But that's it. Then The Name of the Wind, if you have been here a while, I don't like The Name of the Wind. I kind of hate it. Low-key hate. No, it's not like a strong hate, but a kind of low-key one, you know? It's there. So I will never read the third book. In a way, I'm curious about how it's going to end. I didn't like the second book. I think it was so bad. So bad. So yeah, I will just ask one of my friends that really likes the series how it ends, and that's it. Then Game of Thrones. I'm not going to finish this series. I just don't care. yeah, I get it. Authors need to take their time writing their books, and 100% agree. But if you take so much time, I'm just not going to care when the book comes out. And that's what's happening. I just don't care. And after the 8th season, which I deeply hate, it's not like Loki hate like the name of the wind. No, I deeply hate the 8th season. I don't want to go back into the world. I will be reminded all the time about that trash final season. So yeah, I rather not see that. And there's still 2 books left. The last one is never going to be published, so I just don't care. Then let's talk about Nevernight. I actually own a God's Grave, but I read Nevernight. I appreciate Nevernight for what it is, but I don't enjoy Nevernight. I finished it. I think that at the time I gave it 4 stars. If I'm being honest with myself, it's probably 2.5 or 3 stars for me already. I just finished it and was just like, okay, let's just jump into the next book. It was kind of painful finishing it, actually, which doesn't really make sense. And I listened to it as an audiobook for the last part, so it doesn't really make sense that I didn't want it to finish it. So yeah, the humor in Nevernight is not for me. I don't care about footnotes. I actually really like those little twists on books, so that's not the problem. But the humor, I 100% would prefer if Nevernight was just a dark book without humor. If it was just like dark, like really dark, I would have loved it. But the humor is just so dumb sometimes. I don't think that I'm ever going to read God's Grave. I still have it. They're there. But I doubt it. I doubt it. And the last one that I have here, there are more, but I'm just trying to keep this kind of short. Lightbringer. I read 1st and 2nd. So many shitty moments in that series. My kind of enjoyment is being really tainted with some shit like sexism, and I'm so tired of hearing Gavin's child said he's fat. I understand it. I get it. I got it from the first book. I understand. He understands. I just don't need to be reminded of it every single page. So it became a struggle following him, and I just don't like it. I own the 3rd book. I'm still curious enough with the plot to kind of want to see how it develops. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to go through that again. So yeah, I probably won't ever finish it. It's still there. It's kind of looking at me. I have it on the bottom of my shelf, so I don't have to look at it too much. But yeah, if I don't read it next year, I just won't. And I've heard so many mixed things about the ending. If you gave me like the outstanding ending, then I will just force myself to read 3 more books to get to that. But if it's really not, then I just don't care. Yeah, just let's just leave it at that. A new release you have no interest in reading. I think most of the big YA names that came up with books this year. Chain of Gold, don't care. I read the original Shadowhunters trilogy and the Infernal Devices, the one that's set on the 1800s. I read the 1st and the 2nd. Didn't like them. So I just don't care. I just won't continue with anything by her. Midnight Sun, I just don't believe on coming back to your series years later. Nah. Again, Crescent City. I was kind of curious about this one for a while, but I read Throne of Glass. I dnf'd it 2 times. And I really don't think that I'm going to enjoy this, so I'm just going to pass. Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. I think she was the author of Divergent. I might be wrong. I was kind of curious about this one for a bit, but then I was just like, I have so many books to read. The last one, A Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds? Is that the name? I hate the title. I'm sorry. I didn't give a fuck about this book when it was first announced that it was about snow. I just don't care about redemption arcs. Don't years prior to the original series. I don't care at all. If you have given me this before the Hunger Games, just build up snow slowly, I would have bought it 100%. You see him turning into this evil guy, and then on the Hunger Games, you're just like kind of torn between supporting him because you supported him in the previous series, and then Katniss. But the other way around, I don't care. He's a piece of shit. I just don't care if he had like a rough childhood. I don't care. I just don't care. But yeah, those are basically all. It's really hard to actually pick like a new release that you don't want to read because I just never pay attention to those ones. But yeah, let me know which book you don't want to read. I'm sure there's just like one book that everyone talks about that you're just like, nah. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!